I want to say something to you guys about mental health.
Basically, mental and emotional self-care is about maintaining a balance in your life, including how you interact in relationship, the beliefs that you hold, the goals that you have, and how all of these things influence each other. In this video, we're going to be talking about various types of mental and emotional self-care. If you missed the previous videos, I gave an overview of what self-care is, and then I also talked about another area of holistic self-care, which is physical self-care. So if you missed those videos, you might want to check them out. You could click up here. By the way, welcome or welcome back to Maggie Mumbles. My name is Maggie, and on this channel I mumble about witchcraft, spirituality, and personal development. If any of that sounds interesting to you, then please make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and that you hit the bell for notifications.
Now? No, Tuesday. What's on Tuesday?
I try to put out new videos on Tuesdays. A lot of times when you hear people talk about self-care, they generally focus on mental self-care and ways to help you stay in a healthy mental and emotional state by reflecting on the lens in which you view the world, supporting yourself with encouraging statements, and giving yourself time in calming silence. When you take care of your mental and emotional health, it often does give you the ability to take care of yourself in all the other areas of your life. If you have a good mental state, you're more likely to be able to take care of your physical health, you're more likely to be able to take care of your spiritual health, but at the same time, being physically healthy also gives you more capability to be mentally healthy, and so on. So all of this is very holistic. So let's start with the first way to take care of your mental health, and that is to give yourself a chance to reflect on your thoughts and analyze them. Because we have all of these thoughts floating around in our heads, and sometimes they can clutter up our minds so that we can't really think about other things that are also important. So I often think about Albus Dumbledore in the Harry Potter series. I was at one point a very big Harry Potter fan. I have since reevaluated that position, but I do think that this example is still valuable, and that is the pensieve that Dumbledore uses to organize his thoughts so that he can review them later.
It's a pensieve. Very useful if, like me, you find your mind a wee bit stretched. It allows me to see once more things I've already seen.
There are times throughout the series after the pensieve is introduced, I think it's in book 4.
Can confirm.
We see Dumbledore having conversations, and then mid-thought he'll pull a thought from his mind and put it into this stone basin called a pensieve. But one of the practices that I engage in that I feel like is sort of real-world comparable practice is journaling. Basically, you can take your thoughts out of your brain, put them into a physical form on a piece of paper or a computer screen, and you can analyze them by reading them back to yourself. So you can connect more acutely with your thoughts and your emotions. One of my favorite types of journaling is automatic writing. This is basically where you start a timer, you start writing, whatever comes out, comes out. You don't really have conscious ideas leading you anywhere. It's your subconscious is leading you. There's other journaling practices, gratitude journaling, journaling using a prompt, journaling about the lessons you learned after different experiences. If you're not somebody who likes to write things down physically with your hands and pen, you can use a keyboard. You can type your thoughts on your computer screen, a typewriter even, but you can also use voice notes and speak your thoughts and then listen to it back. You could even use a transcription service. You can also doodle. If you're more like artistically inclined, you can draw your thoughts and emotions and analyze them. You could scrapbook, you could pull things out of magazines and things. Do people even get magazines anymore? But basically the point of any of this is to get your thoughts out of this region and into the physical realm where you can look at them more logically, because thoughts are confusing. So the second way to take care of your mental health is to be more supportive, to speak to yourself lovingly, to improve the way that you talk to yourself in your mind and out loud. None of us are immune to negative self-talk. Some of us suffer from it a little bit more than others, but we all have things that we say in our head that we're not good enough, or we're not pretty enough, or we made a mistake, or we are hard on ourselves. If those become our dominant thoughts and we're constantly belittling ourselves, it makes it a lot harder to take action towards the things that we want to do because we don't have confidence in ourselves. One thing I noticed is that the things that I've said to myself in my head or out loud about myself are so much meaner than anything I would ever say to any other person. Even a person that I very much don't like, I'm usually much nicer to them than I am to myself. Obviously, there's people who have done terrible things that I would not speak kindly of, but you get my drift. There's people who, if I did something versus if someone else did the exact same thing, I would be much kinder to that person than I am to myself. And once I had that realization, I named my negative self-talk persona. Her name is Laurel, and when I hear her saying mean things about me, it's like a bully is saying something mean to me.
Bullies, big bullies.
And I tell her that she's being mean and I don't like it and she's hurting my feelings. And usually she stops.
Bullying isn't cool, bullying is lame.
So that's one way to tackle negative self-talk. Another way you might have heard of is through the use of affirmation, which is basically where you phrase things about yourself, even if you don't believe them to be true, in a positive, uplifting way, an affirmative way. And I've talked about affirmations on this channel before, I'm sure I will again, but basically they're self-fulfilling prophecies where you say something enough times about yourself, you start to believe it, and it starts to actually become true. Another thing that has helped me in the past is if you can't bring yourself to say something nice about yourself, to simply say things that are nice about yourself, but sort of in a sarcastic way.
Sarcasm, snark, wise cracks.
So when you drop something, when you break something, when you trip or something like that, and are really down on yourself about it, instead of saying,
"Oh, I'm so clumsy and terrible,"
say something like,
"I am the epitome of grace and beauty."
And even, you kind of have a little bit of sarcasm in there where, look at me, I'm perfect. You know what I mean? So that might be helpful for some of us who are a little bit more sarcastic. But let me know if you have a self-care persona, if you've named her or them or him. If you have, I would love to know their name. And if you haven't, then you might like that idea and let me know what you name them. You could also let us know an affirmation that you like to use. And then the last important mental self-care practice that I want to talk about is engaging in calming silence, giving yourself time in calm, in silence, where you can take a break from your day, your responsibilities, your thoughts even. And this is through a practice called meditation, which I'm sure you've heard of before. It is a common practice in almost every major religion and belief system. It really gives you a fresh mind through that silence. So it's important to remember that meditation is not about stopping your thoughts completely. That's not really the point of meditation. It's more about being mindful of your thoughts. When you are sitting in this silent contemplation, you notice your thoughts and you bring attention to them and you acknowledge them. And the more that you practice this, the more you'll actually be better at the previous thing of speaking to yourself better, because you do become more and more aware of those times when you are being negative towards yourself, when you are saying unkind things to yourself through your thoughts. These are a few ways to take care of your mental and emotional health through reflecting, through supporting yourself, and through giving yourself calming silence. I hope that you are subscribed so that you don't miss next week's video where we talk about spiritual self-care. My goal here is to help you to gain the skills needed to learn what you need when you need it, listening to your intuition and your body. And when you do this, when you're able to fill up your cup in a joyful way, my hope is that you will better be able to share those gifts with the world. If you enjoyed this video, then please make sure that you leave a thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow. It puts the video out in front of other witchy people who might also enjoy this topic, so I really do appreciate that. And make sure that you check out these other videos. This one, maybe.
So close.
Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.